Instilling a love of reading in our children is one of the most helpful things we can do for them. In this video, I'm going to explain why and then share how I failed miserably with my own children. Research shows that across the board, less and less children consider reading a pleasure. Those of us with dyslexic kids can really struggle with this. The tips detailed here would work for any child, but they really help dyslexics. I'll also let you know about two really useful free resources I've created to help both instill a love of reading, but also to teach how to help your children learn to read. Hello, I'm Bateman, and I want to share some ideas for how, as parents, we can instill a love of reading into our dyslexic children. And I realise as I say that it sounds a bit like an oxymoron. They're two totally exclusive things: love of reading, dyslexic child. But I want to tell you, not only is it possible, it is vital. Research has shown that reading for pleasure is the biggest contributor to academic success later in life, even a bigger contributor than the educational level of a child's parents. So it has a significant impact, and that's just not one study, although I will put details of that study below. Lots of studies confirm the same research. What's more, it helps us understand the world from another person's perspective, and this really improves emotional intelligence and increases confidence in children. And perhaps just as importantly, when we read, we create and we use our imaginations. And creativity and being able to innovate are strengths of dyslexics. And yet, when they sit in front of a screen and watch games or movies, all the creativity has been done for them. When they read a book, they are creating and imagining. So the sooner they start to do this, the better. And what's more, dyslexic kids tend to have a hard time at school, so it's lovely to have that oasis of relaxation and bonding with a parent at the end of the day. With the emergence of screen time, there are so many easier, more entertaining ways that our children can amuse themselves that they don't think about reading for pleasure. I want to give you tips for how to be successful in instilling this love of reading. And my reason for wanting to share this information is because I failed miserably. I have 3 children. One of them loves reading, and that's despite me, not because of me. Another absolutely hates reading. He won't even listen to audiobooks. And I put that down to my failings as a parent. I've put this infographic together to better explain the situation. I do not have any photographs of me reading to my son, and if I did, he wouldn't let me show you them. But if I'm honest, this is what I was after. I had this idea that we'd read together and it would be enjoyable, but this was at best what it turned into, and often a lot worse, with tears and shouting. So it wasn't a pleasure in our house. And if I just go on and explain this a little bit more, I was very aware that reading was a necessary life skill. It was a huge focus in school, so every day my son was made to feel inadequate and insecure and that he was stupid. And I knew that it was going to really hold him back academically, because every subject in the curriculum, you learn it by having to read. And as a parent, I was really fearful that my children would not acquire this skill, they would not get qualifications, they would not have great opportunities in life as a result. And so I was really into supporting them at home. I absolutely think parents should support learning to read at home. It's just, it needs to be completely divorced from reading for pleasure, and I'll go on and explain why. But I do think anxiety forced me that whenever I had the opportunity to read for pleasure, I felt I had to make the most of the opportunity and also help my son to get better at reading at the same time. And really, it was a misplaced anxiety, because technology assist poor readers, not just with academics, but technology makes it such that it's not such a big deal if our children don't read quickly. And yet parental support at home is really, really important. And because of that, I have actually created an ebook of all the fantastic resources that I've used to help children learn to read. So I would recommend that, but reading for pleasure should be a totally separate activity. We need to make it as enjoyable as possible. And I've already talked about all the different areas of life that reading for pleasure improves. And if I go on and I will just briefly show you this chart that comes from the research. Frankly, I was shocked by all the areas that it impacted positively, but it did make sense when I read the research, so I'd recommend you doing so. I will place a link with this research below. But what I feel happened with me was my fear of my children not being good at reading made me utilize this time to get them to spell out and them to read. So I'd read a page and then they'd read a page, and once they stumbled over a word, I would get them to spell it out. And once I did that, it was really detrimental because they hated it. So he couldn't wait to not read with me, and he couldn't get away from me quick enough. And that's really sad because children need encouraging to read. Otherwise they gravitate to easy activities. So I would really say, don't force them to read. Maybe you do the reading and so they enjoy it, because I do believe that if our children love reading, they will be motivated to learn to read. I want to keep this video short, so other than say divorce these two tasks completely and make reading enjoyable and encourage children to do it, I haven't given you many practical suggestions, and that's because what helps one child won't necessarily help another. So I've created another PDF that you can download, and this just has lots of practical suggestions that you can use to make reading times more enjoyable with your children. There are details below on how to download both of these books, but I'll give you a quick preview of the Love of Reading ebook. It's full of fun, punchy ideas to how to make reading times more enjoyable. I really hope you found this video helpful. If so, please share it with anyone else it might benefit. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And when you do so, please hit the bell button so you'll be informed when I create new videos. Thanks for watching.